Good evening, folks. In case you aren't aware, a tropical cyclone, or what's known as a hurricane, is on its way towards the United States in the Southern California region. The governor, Gavin Newsom, has issued a state of emergency for the Southern California region due to the storms. Now, that's what we're going to talk about today. Just trying to get you a little aware of what's going on, and so what to expect. How devastating will this actually be? So first of all, we need to get what a hurricane is out of the way. Basically, I'm no expert, but warm air or warm water, so it typically forms around the equator because of the warm water temperature, and the wind as well, typically from Africa, and the warm water will evaporate into steam or water vapor, and the wind will also, and it will spiral up, or go up, and as it goes up, it cools and condenses back into liquid, which forms these clouds, and the wind makes it flow in a circular motion, as you can see with the diagram. And up here it makes a cirrus canopy with this wind spiraling outwards. And now this region right here in the center is known as what's called as the eye of the storm. Typically, when there's a hurricane and all of a sudden it starts being super calm, you are not out of the woods yet, you are in the eye, and when it reaches land, it suddenly dramatically loses its power due to no longer having any fuel source or any water. So as Hurricane Hilary, as what it's called, heads towards San Diego, the Southern California region, it's going to significantly weaken. However, it doesn't mean it won't be devastating or cause problems, flash floods, potential tornadoes, as a local news station indicates that it is a thing to keep in the back of your mind, as it is very much possible. This is the first time in 80-something years that a hurricane has hit California. In fact, the last time was in 1939, so the first year, so when the same year World War II started, so that was over 80 years ago, so it's been a while, and there's only been two indicated recordings, one of a hurricane hitting San Diego in 1939 and 1858. Now I'm going to go over a few things. So this is the current path, as you can see, and with the estimated times, this is a rough estimation, so it's not going to be accurate. You're always welcome to check your local weather stations or online for more accurate representations of what the storm's going to be like. So when can we expect is now. I'm expecting tomorrow on Sunday the 20th. That's when we should start seeing some heavy downpours, some thunder and lightning, and the bulk of the storm. And at least for San Diego, the Southern California region, San Diego, that tomorrow on Sunday is going to be the bulk of the storm. Monday, it may drift into Monday with much lighter rains and winds. Now a hurricane, I should mention, is if the winds reach above 74 miles per hour. So Yeah, it's quite fast. And I'm gonna jump over the same slide, different slide area. Now, what can we expect living in San Diego, which is my home residence? We can expect major flooding in certain areas. Now, I live in on a hill, so I don't really have to worry about being flooded out, considering we are on the hill and all the water should flow downwards. Damages to structure, not just from the rain, but also the wind. So smaller, lighter objects will be relocated. So if you can bring lighter material or objects indoors or tie them down, that is good. That'd be a good idea, because smaller, lighter objects will be relocated, and potentially stuff like solar panels could potentially be ripped off of roofs. So that is something to be aware of. Thunder and lightning action. We are expecting a little bit of thunder and lightning during the storm. At least a little bit. If not, we can get a lot of lightning and thunder action. Now, potentially, we could lose power or internet, lose power due to downed power lines, and potentially lose internet/cable because of the storms knocking down the power line, or the other internet lines and cable lines. So, trees could potentially be knocked over, uprooted, and knocked over onto roads, or even landing on property such as cars, houses, or any other personal belongings. Now, I suggest bringing your cars into the garage if you have one, which is stated in how we can prepare. Now, stock up on food and water. I've recently been to Trader Joe's, and pretty much a lot of the stuff was gone because people were stocking up. Now, we can never be over-prepared. It's better to have more and have excess of something than to not have enough and need it. So stock up on plenty of food and water. Charge all electronic devices prior to the storm coming, because potentially you could lose power. Now, if you have portable power banks, that charge them up, that will be great. That will be helpful to charge devices such as phones, iPads, watches, or anything else that uses electricity. Now, I have a laptop which I can harvest some electricity from if needed. So keep now gather flashlights as well to see in the dark. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory, but keep emergency lines clear. Now, most of us are really good at that, but there's the select few, aka what we like to call Karens. Please, do not call the police on the storm. Okay, I shouldn't have to say this, but it's just, with those kinds of people around, it kind of needs to be said, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, shut down all windows, and lock doors. Now, jumping back to the keep emergency lines clear, keep them for emergencies, as emergency services will of course be backed up, rescuing and responding to emergencies related to the storm or other emergencies that happen whether there's a storm or not. Now, tie down loose objects outside parked cars and garage if you have one, which I've mentioned previously, I believe, in this slide. So, right, so you can check the path. Here's some of the path. It is definitely going to reach Southern California. So brace for the storms. Now, it's not going to be as devastating as it is currently, because, of course, as it gets closer to the land, the storm will be weakened and will eventually die out completely when there's a lack of water or fuel source fueling the hurricane. So now Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency for Southern California ahead of the historic hurricane, which we haven't received a hurricane, at least in San Diego, like I said, since 1939, which was the year World War II happened, and that was a while ago. So we really need to prepare for this. This is going to be something we've never seen, or at least for a while, and we don't, not to worry. San Diego, the government, and the governing agencies are ready to tackle this, and we have plenty of defense lined up for this hurricane. And if we prepare and just stay calm, we should be able to sail past this, and clear skies will be ahead. Right, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, and I will catch you in another one. Peace.